The following memes, along with any ideas, opinions, or other third-party content, do not necessarily or directly reflect the opinions of Anthology, the brand, or me personally, so bear that in mind. And without any more messing about, let's do it. Oh, I'll tell you what we didn't do. We'll do it after. Sesame character Big Bird, trusted expert, inventor of the mRNA actual technology, a virologist, Robert Maloney, is a misinformant. A purveyor of misinformation. Amazing. There we go. He did get new channel. Okay, lovely. What a superstar. Was that a fart? Some of it. Oh, do you know there were so many in for you know who this week? Iceberg, Thunberg. Of course, anyone who knows where all the funding comes from for her parents. Yours truly. I'm here to poison children and torture puppies, and I'm all out of puppies. I'm here to kick ass and take names. What is it? No, I forget what exactly that's based on. Someone will remind me in the chat. I'm here to kick ass, taking names, and I'm all out of ass. Or is it? I don't know. I'm totally bodging that one up. But he's here to poison children and torture puppies, and I'm all out of puppies. And don't forget last week's Truth or Trivia that was featured. As was Fauci's face featured on a pooping pigeons the week before. Rightfully so. Well voted. Well voted. Totally agreed with that. I'll do my own research. Jackpot. CDC. Frequently asked questions. Who do you know that's this? Who do you know that says, yeah, no, I do research. Yeah, I look stuff up. And you know they just go to BBC and CDC, right? And CNN. Google. I called my broker today to find out what I should be buying. He recommended canned goods and ammo. And anyone who was with us with the SHTF breaking news report tonight would know what he is chatting about. I nearly went to a rant then, didn't I? There's just one thing that puzzles me, Mr. Gates. No one had mentioned bioengineered smallpox terrorism until you did. Do you see the pattern? Remember what I told you in the SHTF news? It's really important about this. Really important, right? I got a theory. 1985. I don't know, like a lot of. I think the average age of the subscribers of the channel is between about 18 and about 60, so it's a pretty good spread. And there's a few peaks around the 18 to 25 and the 35 to 45 or whatever it is, or 45 to 50. I forget what it is. So those who were born then will know what I'm talking about in 1985, because I was rocking about like these were in about 1985. And then 2020, it's like, nah, elbows. Bad news, isn't it? Bad news. It's funny actually, because I was chatting to my old man today, and what was funny was we were like, our son basically went on the train today on his own for the first time to go and see his friend, right, in a different town. He's been on the train before, but he hasn't been on the train on his own before, right? And he's 13, so, but he's a very old 13-year-old. He's an only child. He's brought up to be super independent. And anyway, it's like I was talking about how back in the day, what I was up to, disappearing off to different places on trains with my mates at the weekend without even my parents knowing, you know, and like disappearing off to like crazy places and just bunking the train and hoping we didn't get caught. Oh dear. And then of course nowadays it's all totally different, isn't it? It reminds me of that meme that talks about how it's great because back then there were no CCTV cameras and there was no internet, so there was no record of anything. Anyway, thank God for these fact checks. I almost thought the government was tyrannical for a second there. Oh dear, I didn't read that the first time. Thank God for these fact checks. I almost thought the government was tyrannical for a second there. I do try and just cut these memes up so that they're positioned correctly and export them one by one without looking too heavily at them. And it's better for me to see them the first time, the same with you. Worth over $100 million. Want to know where you got that $600 in it? How rude is that? She's worth over $100 million and she's worried about where your $600 that you're paying out is going to and that. Do you hear about that bill, the new bill saying that anything above $600 needs to be recorded and declared and what? $600 is nothing. You know, it's like what? Buying a settee or used TV from someone. Yeah. Oh, can I buy your used TV? Yeah, but we'll have to what? And I tell you what, as well, I saw a separate thing about her, and Gypsy Daisy says, "Thank God the internet was not around when I was doing stupid shit." That's exactly what I'm chatting about. Oh dear, the good old days, the old normal, says Michelle Clark. Totally, and even Christina G there. We were healthier and better immune systems back then too. 100%. Nungroi%, mi amico. That was a combination of Thai and Italian. Sorry about that. You should assume all transactions that can be linked to you probably. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, this is going pretty epically. So it's quite interesting. I saw this other thing about her, about where her money had come from, and based on how much she earns per year in her position in government, and what her worth is, and how it's grown in such a short amount of time, mysteriously out of, don't know, no one seems to be able to answer where all this money's come from. It's funny that, isn't it? Yeah. Old Gavin here. Newsom makes first appearance after missing for 2 weeks after receiving his booster. Oh dear. Yeah, check it out. Data. Metadata. I tell you what, ever since that first image came out of him in the courtroom, net up against the old Data from Star Trek Next Generation, one of my favourite back in the day TV shows. Yes, I'm a Trekkie. But Data was like one of my super favourite characters. Deanna Troi, I used to think she was a bit of a hottie. She's the on-board psycho woman or whatever, who's a betazoid, or she's part betazoid, so she can read minds and shit. But anyway, yeah, classic. Look at the similarity, man. What is going on with that hairline, dude? What is going on with that hairline? I can't look at it. It's... God develops ultra-realistic metaverse. Do you see the order here? God develops ultra-realistic metaverse where people can even talk, learn, and work with other people, calling it universe. Oh, brilliant. You see, how clever is that? I love the sort of... It's like a reverse engineering of psychology, that when I imagine someone coming up with these, that's what I find fascinating. That's what I mean about that intellect, you know. I sort of admire the creation of these things. Like, I used to be a close-up magician, so when I watch another magician doing tricks, I'm not wowed by the trick, but I admire how he's doing it in a slightly different way than maybe I would do it or something like that, right? And it's that same admiration of like, you know, wow, you know, someone sort of like, yeah, love it. New World Order Society. How perfect is that? Isn't it? I often see people going about like everything's normal, like this is all good and this is perfectly okay, and yeah, why, what's the problem? And I'm like, what the fuck? Look around you. Look the fuck around you. But seemingly not. They're just like, you know, fucking hell. Anyway. So, I think Kitty sent this one in. That was quite funny. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is little death. That brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see his path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain. Just the levels of fear that people must be in is just awful psychologically. The damage that can do long term is, I mean, they know exactly what damage it will do. That's why they have all these institutions paid so much money to figure out how to control people's minds, and fear is the best way to do it, right? Like that whole Stargate project, that's all part of it, right? And figuring out what fear is all about and how you can manipulate it, how you can enhance it, how you can become less affected by it. This is like a lot of the drugs they were trialing on military soldiers that is designed, it's not like an adrenaline, but there's special drugs that they were trialing that can, it like dampens down the fear levels of soldiers, right? So they've been doing that shit for fucking ages. He's ranting again. Anyway, If you don't all start behaving yourself, I'll turn it off again. I bet he's thinking that to himself. All the time I'm talking about his hairline, he's probably got his little finger waving over the little delete Andy button on Facebook. Oh dear. Isn't fear what keeps you from petting lions, says Danger Bob. Yeah, healthy levels of fear is good, but not fear that's been manipulated falsely. That's the problem. I've got a healthy fear of sharks, for example, and rightfully so, right? It's one of my most feared animals. I have dived with sharks before in Australia, in Sydney. Was it Sydney? Yeah, it's like an aquarium there, right? And I dived with sharks there, and they were only, I say only, they were, what do you call it, sharks? Nurse sharks they were. Still a fucking shark, right? But, yeah, you have a healthy fear and an innate fear of sharks and things like lions and bears and stuff, and rightfully so, because that's what protects you from making stupid mistakes, right? But it's when fear is instilled in you or created in you unnaturally is when it's a problem, and used against you, more importantly. That's where it comes in, isn't it, right? And it happens in sales as well. I spent many years in sales, and there's things like, you know, the fear of missing out and the fear of, you know, not being trendy and the fear of like not being able to have that thing. You know what I mean? You use it quite a lot in that psychological level as well. The more you weigh, the harder you are to kidnap. Stay safe, eat cake. Love that. I love great marketing as well. The more you weigh, the harder you are to kidnap. Stay safe, eat cake. Well, again, if you're a cake shop, you know, got to find your market somewhere. Age 12, fell off a bike at high school, speed on gravel road. At high speed on gravel road, rode home 5 miles, probably dripping with blood. Age 50, used the wrong pillow and was non-functional for 2 days. I'm sure a lot of people appreciate that. Oh dear. With this technology, the US will fall to its knees and beg for my mercy. Classic. Do you ever remember that? Did you ever see the... Let's have a look, see if I can pull it up quickly. I wonder if... There was one... It wasn't him, was it his dad? But they were basically threatening all sorts of war. Right? And getting all leery about all the wonderful technology they had, right? And they had a picture of their latest technology of some brand new aircraft that they reckon they were designing, right? And they had this super funky. Let me see if I can show you this quickly. I know this is a bit off topic, but you see this. It says out to work fax machine search history. You see. They got him sitting down on this thing. Well, there's another photo that shows it, and this is like latest technology, and he's basically sitting there on Windows 95. Windows 95. So, yeah. I don't know if you could hear me then. I think you should have been able to. But yeah, Windows 95 is what was showing on the computer in the background. So it was really embarrassing because quite clearly they didn't have any technology at all. Let's get back to where we were, sorry. Make sure everyone's alright in the chat. We got loads of people rocking. Yep, everyone's... why is save icon still floppy disk logo? Some things never get updated. Well done, Urban Harvester. That's a good point. Let's get back to where we were, sorry. But yeah, I thought I'd show you that, because that's funny. You know, they start warmongering, or fearmongering, should I say, going, oh, you know, Rocket Man's going to kill us. And it's like, no. You're just telling everyone that's because your review of your military budget's coming up this month. Usually. Oh dear. That's not to suggest that they don't have sophisticated technology, because only a fool would underestimate its enemy, right? Because believe me, if shit kicks off between China and Taiwan, which is, I wouldn't say likely, but it's not beyond the realm of possibility, then you bet your bottom dollar that North Korea will be utilizing, storing, transporting all sorts of high-end military tech that's China's, right? So they'll be well involved. And even though people say, oh, they ain't got any money, they ain't got this and that, they don't need it. Yeah, they got China giving them all sorts of stuff, so bear in mind. He's ranting again. How could people allow it to get to that point? He's reading Germany, 1933 to 1945, look at the old NAZI stuff. How could people allow it to get to that point? And look at them all wrapped up. That's exactly how. Oh, dude, this is interesting because we had this on the Red Pill Trivia quiz last week, Truth or Trivia, didn't we? Did you know, this is classic, the IRS has been giving tax refunds of up to $700 just for having blue tinted headlights on your vehicle. Research Project Bluebeam to find out more. And those who were here last week for the Truth or Trivia will know exactly what Project Bluebeam is all about. If you didn't already, of course. Pfizer CEO says people who spread misinformation on COVID vaccines are criminals. Alexa, who paid the largest criminal fine in United States history? And again, funnily enough, that was another one of our Truth or Trivia questions, wasn't it? 2.3 billion, wasn't it? And it's now 4 billion now, since the biggest fine ever for all the fraud and, you know, mis-selling stuff and pretending something was safe when it wasn't, all those other things we got told off for doing. And since then, there's been another 2 billion's worth of fines since even then. It's all people don't... Fucking hell. How government works. Breaks your legs, sells you a wheelchair, taxes the wheelchair, regulates the use of the wheelchair, and then assures you that without the government you wouldn't be getting around so well. Any questions? Let me know if you're feeling it. I forget who sent this one in. I think it was... Yeah, it might have been. Next. The Second Amendment explained. Obviously, you've got the old Carl Rittenhouse business going on. The Second Amendment explained with... Without. Let me know what you think in the chat while I eat a biscuit. I blame white people for everything. It's cool you're so open about your mental illness. I've seen some great videos recently, actually, from a channel I've followed for many years, but he seems to have become more and more active as time goes on. Other people are the other way around. But History Debunked on YouTube. History Debunked. Lovely, lovely chap. And he's such a great historian. He's such a great researcher. And the name is in the name, right? History Debunked. It gives you an idea of what, you know, what he does. In the name. Check him out. He's good. He's good. You'll like it. What they say. What are they saying? Fuck Joe Biden. Smoke signals. Classic. And like I said, I had so many people sending me in, you know, Sleepy Joe stuff. I had to try and limit them a little bit. Zoom meeting, audio only. Zoom meeting with video. Hey. Fonz. What's that? Is that? Oh, it's a pen. It's got a little pen here, look. Remember, kids, every commercial that begins with "you might be entitled to compensation" refers to something the FDA approved. Oh dear, nasty. I hope you've hit the like button. If you haven't, you're very nasty. Here we go. 2 of the greatest qualities to have in life are patience and wisdom. Don't forget, we're all lovers here on the show. Is that a skunk? I think it is, isn't it? I think... Is it a skunk? Or forgive my ignorance. We don't really have them here. There's such a massive series of these in memes of different people for different things. But this is a good one. And again, it leads on perfectly from the Truth or Trivia quiz last week. And the fact that Fauci was pooped. Dr. Fauci's lab playset. Unlock the secrets of science. Just $19.99. As seen on TV, includes 2 testing subjects. 2 puppies, obviously. For those that don't know, he was caught out setting up a dodgy lab in... Oh, where was it? Because that was one of the Truth or Trivia questions. It wasn't Syria. It was something like... I forget. But he set a lab up because it was illegal to do testing on... big, you know, pharma testing on puppies. But he wanted to do testing on puppies. So instead he paid a load of money to a lab in a different country that hasn't got a problem doing stuff on poor little puppies. Beautiful. Michelle Clark says, I was indeed correct and I should have the Super Epic Winner Award. It was indeed a skunk. She didn't say I should have the winner award at all, actually. I added that in. Which is the hardest for you to say. Oh, this is brilliant. I love you. I was wrong. I'm sorry. I need help. Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce. Brilliant. I appreciate you. My conspiracy theorist friend was right. I don't think I've ever really had anyone say that I was right, despite how many millions of things that I've said. That it's not annoying, but I do ponder whether on certain occasions when something happens and I think to myself, there's at least 30 people that I've told privately that will happen within the next 6 months. And that was about 6 months ago. And I do wonder to myself, do these people think back and say, oh, do you know, it's funny because Andy's mentioned that. But these are people that I've told things are going to happen like within the next 12 months, within the next 6 months, and always happen. And they never, each time I tell them something else, they're still treating me with like doubt. And it's like, well, my track record so far has been like 100%. I mean, do you find this as well, right? The people who know what's going on and they try and... It's like, wow, how much evidence do you need? You got one person whose track record is everything that turns out to be completely false. Or you got someone who keeps telling you stuff that's going to happen before it happens. And it's not one of those like, you know, a broken clock is correct twice a day type things. There's quite specific things that I detail, right? Anyway. That face you make when your booster kicks in. Oh, fuck. There's no wonder we're demonetized, isn't it? Sesame Street character Big Bird. Oh, we're back to the beginning. Ba -ba 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 -ba. I made a new list. But Kitty, Christina G, Urban Harvesting, Rock and Roll Fawn, me, Magic Hand, and various others who contributed. Thank you so very much.